everybody, this is BJ Garrett back with you again, and today I have my dear friend and care volunteer Sharon Wilson. And so Sharon, I love that you do not have the story of abortion in your life, but you are so passionate about helping with care. So introduce yourself and tell us how you got involved with care.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Sharon Wilson, as she said, and I have been involved with care probably since late 2016, early 2017. And boy, how I got started. I had been working for a number of years in self-employed, but contract work for midwifery, a birth center. And so I'm very familiar with the mother-baby bond, and I'd always dealt with birth and babies, but I decided to take some time off from work, and I had been praying about where God wanted me to spend my time. And for some reason, the idea of abortion kept coming to me from different avenues and different places. And then I am friends with Dr. Grace English, and she and I had sons together in band, and we were band parents together and worked on band banquets. And she had been telling me about this ministry that she had actually helped found and was working with. And I remember at one point when we were working on the band banquet, she picked me up. We were going to go get some supplies. And she was so excited. She said, I just got approval to hire an executive director for care. Well, I really didn't know what it was fully about, but she had such enthusiasm and so excitement for that. And so I would ask her every once in a while how that was going. And then she invited my husband and I to the care fundraiser, Care and Confections. And we were so convicted after being at that fundraiser. Just the stories, we were learning more what it was about and how so many people needed this help. And we just had no idea. We had never, like you said, I'm not post-abortive, so I had never really been involved with abortion, or I probably knew people that had them, but they hadn't told me, so I didn't know. And I met you that night just briefly, but you were busy taking care of everything. And so Grace said, you really need to get involved. I really think you need to get involved. And so I kept praying about it. And I think eventually you contacted me, and you were in the process of, I remember moving into a new office. Yeah. So I said, well, okay, well, I'll just come help at the office and see if I can learn more about it. And during all this course, I'd also gone to a women's conference and was at a roundtable discussion with a lady who gave a presentation on helping people through recover from abortion, had no connection to care. And I thought, well, here we go again, abortion's to the forefront. And I just looked at her and I said, but I don't know that I could connect with these ladies because I've not been down that path. I've helped with birth and for people that are joyful of having those babies. And I said, I have dealt with people through miscarriage and through stillbirth, and I had seen that angle of it, but not abortion. And she said, just the fact that you would be willing to help and not judge, she said, speaks volumes. And so I thought, okay, maybe I can be helpful. Kind of went from there. And so I started helping in the office, learning more about it, started helping with the fundraiser planning, and been doing that now for 3 years. And yeah.
Well, that is so true. I've had so many ladies that they're just in awe. You know, for those of us who have had abortions, we get it, you know, and so when we meet someone else who's had an abortion, like we can so intimately relate to that pain and the wound left over by abortion of the loss of our children. But when we meet women in this ministry that do not have the story of abortion, they're so passionate about ministering to the women that come through our doors. It's very meaningful because in our eyes, in our hearts, for the post-abortive woman, it's like the whole world is judging us. We're judging us. And so it's hard for us to grasp the love of someone who doesn't have that same story to know and to believe that they are genuine and that they are passionate about ministering to us who have chosen abortion in our past. And so I love that. First, I love that you don't have the story of abortion, but I really love that despite that, you are very passionate about this ministry. And so I get the great fun of working with you during our weekend Bible studies. And so tell me a little bit from your perspective, when you see the women come in, from day one of the Bible study to the last day of the study, what is it that you see in that transformation?
Oh, wow. I said I had been praying about where to spend my time, and I did volunteer at the office and help with the fundraisers. But it wasn't until that first Bible study weekend that I went. I volunteered for hospitality, which means you help serve, you prepare and serve food for these ladies and just connect with them and kind of encourage them and help them through the weekend, because it's a very difficult, emotional weekend. And I had really prayed very hard about, should I be here? Can I really connect with these ladies? Can I help? And so I had prayed about it. And when we got there, I had no idea that two of the ladies that came, I knew. I had no idea that they would be there. They had no idea that I would be there. And I thought, okay, God, you're going to help me connect, because I already have that inroad with them a little bit. And so it was an amazing weekend. And the only way I can think to explain it is when I see them come, we greet them and they come, and you help them pack in their things for the weekend, their pillows, their whatever, special blankets, whatever they bring to comfort them, their clothes, their luggage, and I help them carry it in, and you can just see it in the body language. They're not just carrying luggage, they're carrying baggage. I mean, you just see the weight. And they don't know what they're in for really that weekend either, other than the preliminary work that they've done. And so they're very closed. I don't know how to say it, but I read people and body language. Working in midwifery and labor, you learn to do that. And just the body language, they're closed off. They're not going to share. And maybe some of them haven't even ever shared about their abortion. And like I said, they knew me from past experiences together, and they know I probably didn't know they'd had an abortion. So they're thinking, what is she doing here? And how, so it was just to watch their body language and then go through the weekend with them and slowly watch them just take off layers. That's just how I think it was. They just piece by piece, they would take off layers. And by the time they left on Sunday, they were just like a different person. It's God. I mean, that's all I can say is the transformation. I knew God was there, and that's really what solidified that this is a place I needed to be helping. So it was amazing to watch them go out of there free, and not that they're done with it. That weekend can't make them done with it, but it gave them the hope and the skills and the coping mechanisms that they were going to be okay. And I just, it was awesome. It was an awesome thing to watch. We talk about forgiveness and God's love and his mercy, but to see it in front of you is amazing.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the first time that you came to me talking about physically watching that transformation, because we see that all the time, and so fantastic. Like sometimes I think, am I imagining this? Like I mean, they come in, the women, and myself included, when I came in for my very first weekend so many years ago, you come in so burdened that it really is a physical weight that you're carrying, and these walls, these invisible but very strong walls, are built up all around us. And as you go through the weekend process or the Bible study process, whatever format you're in, you can physically see that transformation. And so when you came to me as almost not as an outsider, but as an outsider looking, without the story of abortion, but seeing that physical transformation of the women through the weekend. I mean, I just get teary eyed. I love this ministry so much and the absolute changes that it makes. So what would you say, like you said, you ended up inadvertently knowing two of the ladies that came through our weekend.
Yes.
What would you say to the woman that you don't know that has abortion in her story? What would you say to her if you could just blanket statement to the ladies that are watching this program tonight? What would you say to them to encourage them to come through the weekend?
Wow. That you are probably carrying burdens that you don't even realize that you need to get rid of, and that you may think you have it all covered and are going about and living your life and dealing with it, but if you haven't truly gone through the steps of healing that care brings, you don't realize how much you need it. So I would just say, come. Don't let fear or pride or anything else keep you from walking through those doors, because you will come out transformed. Because maybe you've felt like you've been forgiven, but maybe you haven't truly forgiven others. I mean, there's just all kinds of reasons to come, but you will come out, you will have a benefit. No matter what stage you're at in that process, you will come out a freer person, closer to God. That's just how I feel.
I love that. My pastor will often say about attending things like women's conferences or marriage conferences, he said, one thing's for certain, you won't come out stupider.
That's very true.
You may not, even if you get 0 out of it, you won't come out less than you went in. And so, right. But I know I personally have experienced the power of the Bible study that we use and the curriculum that we use. And it really changed my life. And I mean, we've talked about this a lot over the past few years. But what about the woman that might be watching, or man for that matter? Of course, women only work with women and only men work with men. But what would you say to the woman that is not post-abortive, that maybe knows someone who's post-abortive or just is thinking, not understanding why, but why would the woman that's not post-abortive want to get involved with ministry?
Well, that that crossed my mind all the time, is really, can I be effective? Can I be helpful? And one of the examples I can share is at the weekend, one of the weekends I was there with a group. I don't believe it was the first one. I think it was the second Bible study I was at. One of the ladies made the comment, I am just there serving food. I say just serving food, but you're connecting and you're helping them get through the weekend. And you sit with them, you serve the food, but you also join them and connect with them and encourage them. I stay in the, when we have those type of Bible studies, when we were able to do that, stayed in the home with them. So you see them in the evenings, you talk and you let them talk and just listen. A lot of them just need somebody to listen to them. And when we were at a meal, after a meal, one of the ladies was up, she said, I just feel the love coming out of this food. She said, I don't know how to say that. She said, but I feel so loved. And so it's just the fact that people take time to pour into them and let them know how much God loves them. So anybody can do that. I mean, anybody can do that. You don't have to say, oh, I've been through abortion so I can understand. I can't understand, but I can only imagine what the angst must be that they go through. I mean, we've all sinned. So we've all had to come to that crossroads of, God, please forgive me. So you can do that. I mean, and just the fact that you could spend your time giving to these ladies means more than, I mean, it's transformed me, really. I have to say that it's been a positive for me, knowing that I have just a small part to play in it.
Well, and you came in really literally from helping me rearrange an office and hanging pictures,
Yes.
stuffing envelopes, helping with newsletters, helping with stuff in the office, helping with curriculum, um, becoming the volunteer coordinator for Care and Confections,
Mhm.
and then obviously the hands-on help and involvement with the women in the Bible studies. And so you've been such a gift of care, and we love you so much. We appreciate you
Wow.
so much. And I want to just encourage you, if, you know, like as Sharon said, whether you have the story of abortion or not, if you feel this ministry calling you, we are always in need of volunteers. And there's lots of ways you can help. If you know, have something that you make or create and you're crafty, we give gifts to our women that come through the study, and
Yes.
things that are, you know, things that show love. So anything that you do that can show love to these women, maybe it's writing cards or letters, or, you know, anything that really is your calling, your gifting, you can do that to help these ladies. And then we do, of course, have the occasion where we need help in the office, and specifically for the Bible studies. So please get involved if you have a way. We also, with our partnering ministry, the Pregnancy Resource Center, our volunteers can go back and forth with them. And so we would love to get you plugged in there if you're looking for something to be very consistent, like every Tuesday for 3 hours or something to that effect. We don't have that need specifically because of the nature of our ministry, but we do partner with the Pregnancy Center that does need that. So,
And that's one thing I wanted to say. When I started learning about care, I'm so thankful that it also focuses on educating the community about abortion, but also hopefully helping those that are contemplating abortion to not take that step. Because and that's where I feel like those that are post-abortive can help, because they can tell you the road that they went down. But I think that's so important. The educational part of it too is so important, so that hopefully we can prevent, you know, it's like one of those ministries you're helping you work yourself out of a job. We don't really want care to not be there, because until Christ's return, we know it's going to be needed. But it's like one of those things we would pray that, you know, someday this won't be needed, because people
absolutely.
won't make that choice. So
Absolutely. And of course, you know, my heart that the education side of this ministry is huge. And when we actually changed our name, we used to be Christ-Centered Abortion Recovery of East Texas. Well, God blew the walls off of East Texas, and now we've gone international even. And so we really at that time began to realize that education is key to prevention. And if
yes,
we can educate these young people, these young couples, our communities about the truth of abortion and how it damages the
yes,
and women long term, it takes more than just a child's life. It really affects us all. And the ripple effects within our families and our churches and our communities is devastating. And so to be able to come into small groups and churches and Sunday school classes, and or any kind of, you know, any kind of group, it's very powerful to be able to share that. So
yes. I
been
like
very
that.
gifted in bringing us there. I mean, you got me to Kentucky, and so,
Yeah, got some confidence. Yes, and I think that's so important, because you know what, in my background, you just didn't talk about abortion. That wasn't something that was brought to the forefront. That was swept under the rug more than anything. And I can't imagine what that must do to those that have gone through it, and how the shame they must live with unnecessarily. But when I started getting involved, I just realized, you know, I had never really thought about, well, it affects grandparents. It affects neighbors. It affects anybody that goes through it. With a single abortion can affect so many people and future relationships of that person. I mean, it just goes on and on. So I feel like the educational part is very important. And I was also thrilled that you address the men, because it's always like it's a woman's thing. It's, you know, my body, my choice is what you hear. So you
right.
think of the women, and you don't realize the impact that it has on the men also. So I like the fact that CARE deals with that also.
It's so heartbreaking that the men's voices is completely silenced through the abortion in
Yes.
the world's view. And it's devastating because men have such an important role in relationships first off, but specifically in fatherhood, and abortion is robbing them of fatherhood, daily, and so it is devastating. So we are very passionate about helping men as well. And I love, you kind of touched on this too, is that ripple effect where, you don't have to be post-abortive to come through the study. Maybe you are the one that took your daughter to have an abortion, or maybe you are the one that paid for your son's girlfriend to have an abortion. There's lots of ways. Maybe it was your neighbor or your cousin or your best friend. And all of a sudden you're realizing, excuse me, oh my goodness, I played a role in ending this child's life. Our abortion recovery program would be very beneficial for you. It's nothing weird. I say that all the time because there's so many weird things out there, Sharon. And so it's
I know.
like, we don't do anything weird. It's just a Bible study. And I don't say just like, because it's to belittle it, but it's nothing, it's not some kind of weird, crazy program. I'm like, we don't do any kind of like, you gotta fall and let us catch you, or climb a rope, or there's nothing like that. It's just a Bible study, but it's a very intensive, very heart convicting Bible study geared specific to abortion and abortion recovery and healing the heart from the wound of abortion. And whatever role you played in that, whether you were the one that chose abortion or whether it was forced upon you, highly encouraged, or whether you were the one that paid for or drove the young woman to the abortion clinic. And so just in closing, anything else that you want to share about your passion for care, or to kind of encourage someone to come through our doors?
Well, BJ, knowing you, it's hard not to have passion. You're such a passionate person, and it's contagious, and I love that about you. But I would just encourage people, even if you think you have it figured out and have had abortion, it's worth going through the weekend. And as far as volunteers go, people need that love shown to them. So don't hesitate. If you're looking for an avenue to spend your time, it's well worth it. Pray about it. That's what I did. And this is where it led me. And I'm so very thankful.
Well, thank you so much. And so this is, again, BJ Garrett, Executive Director of Care, closing out tonight with my dear friend and care volunteer, Sharon Wilson. And just remember, no matter what has been done to you, no matter what you've done to yourself, there is hope and healing in Jesus Christ. God bless you all.
Bye.